Hey, what's up everybody? This is Mage, and today I have with me a special guest, one of PlayFFA's best streamers out there. I've got Hayder with me, so why don't you go ahead and say hey.
Hey.
And for those of you that are not familiar, Hayder is the co-caster with Ugri usually on the PlayFFA channel, which is twitch.tv/PlayFFA. Everybody should make sure that they go ahead and subscribe to that as well, since while it's only live on Free-For-All Masters, this is a PlayFFA tournament, so it's only respectful. But just to go off that, this is the grand final of the PlayFFA Cup. It involves a very, very good cast, and we'll start in the bottom left-hand corner where we have Lightweight. Most of you are probably familiar with him by now, but he is a long-standing free-for-all player that has made it to finals of pretty much everything, including previous Play Free-For-All Cups, FML finals, and various other tournaments. He's never managed to pull off the big win, but he is one of the most talented players out there. Going counterclockwise to his right, we have Wrecktify. He is playing Night Elf, but better known for Human. He's got 3 FML titles, has made the Play Free-For-All Cup previously, and is pretty much well established as the most consistently successful player out there now that Magadanski's activity has gone away a little bit. To the right of him, we have finishing off the sandwich, Ostone, a new German/Russian player, Russian living in Germany currently. Playing Orc, kind of came out of nowhere, a little bit more passive hoarding style play, but it's been very successful for him so far, and he actually made the FML finals this season as well. So he's really off to a very impressive start to his young career, making 2 finals quickly and hoping to add on the win here, I'm sure. Across the map, we have TheGreatWall, who managed to get himself undead and a beautiful spawn position, pretty much the best you could hope for if you were in his shoes. So yeah. He's going to have the early advantage for sure, and I think it's going to be an interesting game. But just based off these spawns, any early game predictions that you might have?
It's hard to say. I mean, I definitely agree with you. TheGreatWall's got a dream spot location there. But, I mean, Lightweight and Ostone aren't in very disadvantageous positions either. I think Wrecktify's got his work out for him being in the middle of the sandwich there.
Yeah, and if you see, Ostone is going for that just pure Blade Master tech, probably trying to get quick Wyverns. I think that could be a big problem for him. I know he hasn't scouted that Wrecktify is next to him yet, but Wreck has no problem going aggressive early on, and a tempting Orc target like that, no defenses there. I could definitely see a quick 80 push with Chimeras just completely decimating his base. Yeah.
And I think Blademaster's taking advantage of the bug in the creeps this map. The Macro Deepsea is not going to attack him, you'll see. So it's a bug specifically designed for Orcs, really, because it allows them to use the Blademaster to single-handedly creep out the natural expand. So it's going to be interesting to see how he's going to use that to his advantage.
Yep, although it does look like it just went off here. He did use the summons, and they are continuing to attack him.
I know just as I said that.
Yep, but 99 out of 100 times it does work as you're just describing, and actually very advantageous for Demon Hunter Night Elf users. While there are not many of them, it does work well in that specific situation. Let's see if he did bring a peon over here. He could just tank it with that, but apparently he's going to heal up a little bit. Lightweight off to the quick expansion already. He's got his militia over here. He'll have that before no time. And Wrecktify continues to go ahead and use the Dark Ranger. Very good map for the Dark Ranger. You can see he's moving his Ancient of War over here to go ahead and AOW creep the Shredder. Shredder's not going to be available for a little while, but he can make sure that he is able to get it quickly. Just as a Night Elf, I know that you absolutely want to make sure you get one of the first Shredders on the map.
Yep. I think that's definitely a key element to the fight here.
TheGreatWall has gone Tinker first.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah,
wow.
Interesting is one way to put it. You don't see that very often. I'm curious what type of strategy he's trying to pull off with that. Tinker is a viable, although not great hero, but it does not mesh all that well with Undead.
Do you know what? I really like TheGreatWall's style of play because he always tries really interesting combos and tactics. So, and he actually has a good knack of pulling them off. So even though I agree with you, Tinker doesn't. He's a viable hero, but he doesn't really set in with Undead. But he's probably going to pull out something out of his magical hat or something like that, and he'll probably pull off something really good and really interesting and fun to watch. So I look forward to it.
Yep, and I'm paused out momentarily here. Apparently I did not manage to change my Twitch dashboard, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that for Ugri really quick. Sorry for the quick delay here. Go ahead and you can continue to do a little color commentary. Just describe it to our
Okay, yeah,
players.
sure. So we've got yellow kind of going across the map. I think he's trying to get out of the sandwich basically by trying to expand literally in the middle of one of these random expands. That's not really kind of it's not really disadvantage to either position because it's far away from all players, unlikely to be harassed, and he's also picked up a macro deep steer to help kind of produce prawns to help boost his creeping ability. So, yeah, so that's going to come into very handy for that. So Blade Master's actually creeping out the other expand on the right side of him, going counterclockwise, again failing to abuse the bug that prevents the macro deep seer from attacking back. So he's having really bad luck today. And we've got the Undead who's creeping out the Goblin Laboratory, picking up the Goblin Shredder to try help kind of pad the creeping, which is always very useful. And Tink's actually a very powerful creeper. Using the Goblin Factories usually gets Tinker one of the highest, quickest levels when it comes to creeping. And we've got a standard kind of human play from Lightweight using Archmage and Footman, camping out the Mercenary camp at 6 o'clock there, getting a fast drop of a Ring of Regeneration. So humans expanded, the undead is about to expand, creeping out expand, Orc is expanded, Night Elf is expanded, and Night Elf is actually taking a second expand, so being very adventurous in his creeping there, and actually taking 2 expands despite being sandwiched in the middle. And picking up Panda second. So he's going for a very standard Dark Ranger and Panda combination. So
yeah, and Wrecktify is not likely to actually change his. He'll pick up the Keep of the Grove third. It's a smart play. So far it looks like GreatWall is going to be the only interesting one. Lightweight had a very interesting hero combination earlier. Not sure who of you have actually watched the game, but he went for, I believe it was Paladin, Alchemist, Panda.
We shoutcasted that.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful game. Really interesting, lovely hero combo, and it works so well having that Acid Bomb AoE and the Drunken Haze Breath of Fire combo. That's what helped him win the game, really.
And it'll be interesting here. I mean, the standard play for human would be to go for the Archmage, Mountain King, Paladin, but he did pick up the Panda. Persuade actually very well known for using the Panda second, and really I think this shows that he's worried about Wrecktify as being his biggest threat, just because he knows that there's going to be a lot of chippo going on, and when you pick up that Panda second as human, you are pretty much committing to playing the big battle game. You're not going for your... you're not going for Hero Arena so much, because you are losing out on your Mountain King, which has a stun. So Lightweight is hoping to win the big games and then be able to take it home. He'll have the combination of Breath of Fire and Blizzard to take down bases quickly, and he's just got to hope at this point that it's not going to be one of those hero hunting late games, since if it is, he's really going to miss that Mountain King.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. You need the Mountain King if you're going for the hero arena, otherwise you'll be at a big disadvantage there.
Yep, and Wrecktify doing a very nice job of taking the creeps that he can get, just going across the map, focusing on where people aren't, and even getting a little close to GreatWall's territory probably. But this is what you have to do when you're in a surround. You've got 2 options. You can either play the other side of the map, or you can go for a quick rush. And as we can see, Ostone does have his Wyverns out now, so he is not going to be able to be taken out super easily early on, although a quick 100 push may still be able to do it. But Wrecktify playing the smarter late game here, and not trying to get too fancy, just taking what he can, and we'll see where it goes from there. He will have a disadvantage later on, though, because while he does have 2 expansions now, it's going to be much easier for the other players to get up their 3rd expansion than it will be for Wrecktify to get up his. We can see that GreatWall is putting up his 3rd over at the 9 o'clock position, and Wrecktify possibly could go for the
3rd where he's
creeping
creeping now, yeah.
But at the same time, that would be very hard to defend and is very close to GreatWall's base.
Really nice item drop there. The Endurance Aura for the Panda. That's going to be really useful for Night Elf mobility.
Yep, and Wrecktify has hit his Tree of Eternity. He's got the Chimera Roost coming up. He's got 4 on the way, so he may actually be going for a very quick Chimera push out to try and take out Ostone. We can see Ostone does have a single Voodoo Lounge, has not yet hit Fortress, has a single Bestiary, so he is very vulnerable at this point in the game, and it'll be interesting to know if Wrecktify has seen that. I wish we could switch over and see from his point of view, because I'm not sure the scouting yet.
That would be really, really useful to have that kind of fog of war for each player, but unfortunately not. I just want to quickly ping here. I mean, GreatWall's doing a very nice job of building kind of
proxy expos,
Yeah,
or
so
necropolises.
proxy necropolises, yeah. So really helping map coverage and map awareness and macro control to really dominate cover of the map, which is really, really interesting to see. It's not a standard strategy that you see at all with Undead.
Yeah, usually you see the necropolises a little bit closer, so in around this position or this position. I do like that they're so far out, but I also think he needs to get at least one more necropolis in his base. What he really has to be worried about is mass TP on this map later in the game. And while these are good for making sure you can see the tanks incoming, if somebody mass TPs in there and takes out the main hall, then you need to have at least one necropolis you can TP to, just so you can get back. So I
Definitely
presume he will put up another. He's just putting up crypts at the moment. But Wrecktify actually asking an interesting question. Are private messages allowed? Since in FML they are not allowed, but they are part of the game, and it's a question of are they allowed or disallowed within this tournament. So do you happen to know the answer to that?
I actually don't. I know that the PlayFFA bot is anonymous, and part of the anonymity is to prevent PM messaging. So it's a likely answer that the PMs are not allowed, but I can't say for sure. So I think someone will have to check with Ugrulainen about this.
Yep, I'd agree with you. I think they're probably disallowed. And yep, there we go. Ugri does say no PM.
There we go.
So quick answer on that one. Well done by Ugri getting on top of that. And
I think it makes the game more interesting. Really, it prevents unnecessary and stupid teaming that takes the fun out of the game.
It's also not quite as much fun if they're just talking to each other and we can't read.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I totally agree with you there.
And is Wrecktify going to try and jack Lightweight here? It looks like he's moving in, but smartly backs off. I don't think he really wants to take this fight at this point. He does not need to have Lightweight coming in on him. As Night Elf, that's just pretty much impossible to defend. So GreatWall has picked up the Death Knight. I'm sure you saw that. And we do have Wrecktify actually going ahead, and he is going to try and take out this Paladin at least. Losing his archer is not a big deal, but he does have to be careful about this. Keeper of the Grove getting low. It does have a scroll protection on it. And there we go. We do see the Paladin go down, but so does the Panda at the same time. So 1-for-1 trade at this point. But the Keeper of the Grove falls as well, so Wrecktify not in good shape right now. Interesting decision not to pass off that TP and get out, but
he lost a level 1 Paladin for a level 3 and a level 2 hero, so he's lost out a lot more than the human did.
And he's probably a little worried right now. Ostone is just passing through his base, I believe, but he does see him here, and he's given away the fact that he's pumping out Chimeras now.
Yeah, definitely. That's not an advantage that you want to give away so early.
Nope. And it'll be a question, does Ostone think that he's coming for him, or does... Yep, so you can see from the chat, Ostone believes that the Chimeras are being built to attack him, but in reality they are just being built to hopefully fend off Lightweight here. But Lightweight off to a very good start, gets that Panda up to 4 already, and we do not see a third hero coming out, so it does look like he's just going for the 6 Archmage, 6 Panda.
He's got a Panda. He's got a Paladin, level 1.
Oh, does he? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, who died in the fight.
I forgot about
really
that.
nice micro. No, that's okay. Really nice micro by Lightweight, kind of catching all the wisps with one single breath of fire as soon as the tree goes down.
Yep.
So absolutely. Really nice micro there.
So GreatWall going to continue to be able to just be left in peace here. Wrecktify only 500 gold. His Panda is on the way back out, but he is not going to be able to get that Keep of the Grove out probably. Bunch of Chimeras here, however, he does look like he's going to try and just go for Lightweight's main, force a TP that way. Wrecktify not in good shape whatsoever at the moment, though.
He's taking a lot of damage right now.
Yep, Lightweight is not attacking the Tree of Eternity. He has already managed to food block Wrecktify, and it would seem like going for the Tree of Eternity would be advantageous right now.
Yeah, it's not going to take him long to take it down with 5 tanks, and God knows how many breakers attacking it. So really, Wrecktify is actually looking at kind of building somewhere else and perhaps restarting his tech somewhere else. But it's certainly not going to be next to Lightweight. Lightweight's done a very efficient and smart early push.
Yep, Lightweight did that well and very unexpected as well. I mean, you really don't think that you are going to have get rushed in when you're in a surround, but Lightweight looking very low on this Archmage. Is he actually going to lose it to the Blade Master? No, just gets that heal off barely in time.
Yeah.
And Lightweight is now aware, so interesting that Ostone came in here to try and save him. Usually you don't see the 4th player getting saved when they get rushed, but it does look like Ostone is feeling a little benevolent for right now.
Yeah, I'd say Ostone might be making a mistake there by letting Wrecktify kind of live and perhaps regenerate, because if he regenerates, he's going to regenerate, as you said, on the 1 o'clock position. So Ostone will then be switched from a sandwiching position to a sandwiched position. So I think you might need to rethink that kind of strategy of letting Wrecktify rebuild.
Yeah, I kind of expected him to try and take out Wrecktify, maybe just go for the easy experience there, but Ostone apparently is just going to go ahead and let him do it. On the other hand, it does mean that Wrecktify is pretty much going to be harassing Lightweight for as long as he's alive, which allows Ostone to hoard longer, and maybe Ostone feels that he'll have a better chance fighting GreatWall, and if he can allow Lightweight and Wrecktify to battle it out amongst each other, then he can take advantage of the Orc versus Undead matchup.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
GreatWall has gotten off to a great start, though. He's almost at 7,500 so far. Ostone not too far behind with 6,700. Lightweight paying for his early rush, obviously. He's only at 400 gold, and Wrecktify at 300, but food blocked at 20 is the really important part there.
Yeah.
Obviously not in good shape right now, and the Keep of the Grove getting very low, and the Keep of the Grove does go down before Wrecktify can TP out. Town Hall goes down as well, but that's not a trade Wrecktify can make since he cannot get that hero back now, or at least not for a while.
Exactly. It's as you say, he's food blocked. Losing the Keeper of the Grove is a huge hit right now. So he needs to be really, really careful. And there's tanks everywhere. You can see he's Lightweight sending a tank there, sending a tank there. He really, really is focused on taking him out. And he's got 3 tanks here, taking out all his teched up buildings.
Yep.
So
Lightweight playing this very nicely. That's something that not enough human players do, is just send out a single tank to take down what you can. I mean, it makes it so Wrecktify has to split his army to combat it, and that gives Lightweight time to get up there, actually fight the army. So Wrecktify, you hate to call somebody out of the game, but he is certainly not in a good position right now.
Yeah. He started off quite strong. He's trying to expand in places that other players weren't really kind of going across, but I mean, yeah, as you said, Lightweight's done a really effective, really early push. Nice to see a human player actually taking the aggressive stance instead of the Orc always being aggressive. So, looks like Lightweight's going to give us a lot of interesting games.
And Wrecktify forced to TP out there right into the tank. Barely actually got that off. The Tree of Ages only 70 HP left, and that would have been, well, Catastrophic's already happened, but it would have been even worse if he could not TP out there.
Catastrophic, yeah. I think we've got to think of a new kind of devastational scenario now. He's already lost his entire base.
Yeah, so Ostone going ahead and basically just harassing Lightweight at this point. Pretty decent levels from the creeping so far. 442, good items on the Shadow Hunter. Torn Chieftain, pretty much standard right now. A few low-level healing items on it. And the Blade Master does have a Claws +6, not nearly as exciting as a 12, but what can you do? So Ostone probably got to think about buying a few items soon, just improving his army a little bit. I mean, the DPS from that Blade Master could be ridiculous here, and I suspect he'll go ahead and sell that Circlet soon, get something a little bit better on it. Does look like Lightweight has found Wrecktify's main base, or what he can call a main base at this point. But GreatWall just being allowed to pretty much do what he wants right now. I'm surprised he does not have better hero levels, to be honest. He's got 421.
I was just about to say, for someone who's had almost no conflict with any other player, and literally more than a third of the map to creep, he's got surprisingly low heroes, so I'm quite surprised by that. But if you click on his heroes, he's got disgustingly good items.
Yeah, especially that Tinker. I mean, if that does get to 6, that's going to be a pain to take care of.
Ooh, yeah, definitely.
I'll be interested to see how that synergizes in a fight, though. I've never really seen an Undead with Tinker first, so I mean, I guess it's pretty tough to take down when they get 6, obviously, and then you can just have the Death Knight heal up the Lich, so maybe he knows what he's doing, or maybe he's just had a stroke of inspiration, but I'm very excited to see what GreatWall does when he actually gets into a big fight.
Or just a stroke without the inspiration.
Could be that as well.
Can you imagine if he misclicked Tinker? This whole time is just a misclick. I don't know. You never know.
It's certainly possible.
I'm quite interested to see what happens, though.
Yep. I think we would have heard more cursing by now if it was a misclick, though.
So we've got a Tree of Life being built here for Wrecktify. And so just a few chimeras here with the Panda.
Yeah, Wrecktify pretty much just staying in it now to harass Lightweight and try to make sure that he doesn't win. He has no way to mine gold because he can't produce any wisps. He's single
completely
wisp hidden,
blocked.
2 wisps hidden. But yeah, so it would take a very long time to get enough to rebuild his army. He does have a good amount of chimeras. I mean, enough to do a bunch of damage to Lightweight's expansions for sure. But now Lightweight being forced to split his attention between hunting down the rest of Wrecktify, where he has no idea how many trees of life are left, and having to deal with Ostone, worried that Ostone may go for a full 100 food hit on him before too long. And interesting that Ostone has only 400 wood while still having that shredder. I guess it's just because he's putting up all these towers here, but I'd expect him to have at least 1,000 wood at this point based off the 10,000 gold that he has. GreatWall, not that much better actually, only 800 wood, but he does have most of his buildings up and towers upgraded already.
It's not a good ratio to have for Orc to have such a low amount of wood because bats cost so much wood. You need to be able to pump whenever you need it, and you need about 6 bestiaries as well. He's got the number of bestiaries, but you know he'll be woodlocked very very soon if he's not careful. So I think he needs to start sparing some wood at least for a rainy day.
Yep, and he does have all these burrows lined up where it'd just be incredibly easy for the Blizzard Breath of Fire combination to take them out and food lock them again. Lightweight has found Wrecktify's base, and I believe he does not have enough gold to put up another building, so this will be the end for Wrecktify, it looks like, unless he goes ahead and builds a Ancient of Wonder or something like that. But Wrecktify looking like he's going to go ahead and throw in the towel at this point and join us as observers.
Well, he put up a good fight, but you know, Lightweight really did clamp in on him so early.
Yep, and Lightweight did play that very well. Wrecktify was in a good position to rush out Ostone, I think, and just got completely blindsided by Lightweight coming after him. Yep, and very unexpected. But Lightweight now in a tricky position of only 100 gold at the moment. Ideally, he'd probably want to go down to 50 and hoard there, but he's only got 1 expansion. And for all that fighting, his hero is really not in that great a shape. I mean, 542, good, but that's not trip 6s or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have the advantage that he needs to make up for the lack of gold.
Yep, and it does look like he's going to start killing stuff off and try to go down to 50. Probably a smart move there. Ostone engaging with GreatWall right now. GreatWall did see it, is pumping up. He's got 91 when he's pumping here, and we do get a TP in. So Ostone being forced to get back here. GreatWall, really good army to counter this right now. He might think about pushing onto Ostone and seeing how much he can get out of this.
And he lost a couple of Wyverns in the transition as well. So, I mean, GreatWall's in quite a strong position. He's covering about a third of the map comfortably, and yeah, so he's also got a very good army to help counter the Wyvern Shaman combination. So I think he's in a very strong position, but I think his hero levels might let him down if it reaches the late game. So he needs to be really careful.
Yeah, both GreatWall and Ostone need to be wary of Lightweight's almost level 6 Archmage, and they could certainly use some buffing up on their own heroes. I mean,
absolutely,
you definitely want to get that Torn Chieftain and at least to level 3 and the Shadow Hunter to level 5. I'm sure that GreatWall is very uncomfortable with the level 2 Death Knight, since that will go down very, very quickly to pretty much either of the other players. So
yeah, absolutely,
you don't want to lose that as undead.
We've just seen Lightweight over here in this corner kill 6 of his breakers off, so I'm not sure if that's the wisest choice, given that the other players are actively moving their armies around. But he certainly needs the gold, but he's not gonna make up the amount of gold for losing those breakers anytime soon. So he needs to be really careful about that kind of sacrifice.
Yeah, I think that's a smart move. I think that he knows they're now fighting each other, and he can kind of lie quietly for a little while unless somebody starts actively manipulating him at him. And he really needs to be under 50. I think that was a good move. He'll have 2 expansions, 3 expansions up, as well as his main, so he'll be able to be mining.
Well, 2 expansions.
And yep, there we go. So just as I was complimenting Lightweight's choice here, GreatWall going to go ahead and hit him.
So yeah, I bet he's regretting killing those breakers now, because now he's gone back. He's going to be forced to go back into no upkeep, which loses the whole advantage that he was trying to gain in the first place.
Yep. Although, yeah, the breakers probably would be helpful to try and pull off a surround at least. What he really needs to do is just keep massing tanks, though.
Yeah,
and he
definitely.
that Archmage is super close to 6. When that happens, then GreatWall is going to be in a world of trouble, since it's so hard to defend against mass TP as undead.
Yeah, and in fact, if he goes level 6, it will be perfect, because then he doesn't need to be on the defensive. He'll go on the offensive, so keeping his expansions alive and not necessarily even needing to mass tower them up, because he'll constantly be keeping GreatWall just running around from expand to expand, trying to save his own ass.
Yep, exactly. But this is going to allow Ostone to go back and continue to hoard if he wants to. It looks like he may actually go after GreatWall as well, so we could see a quick 2v1 against GreatWall, which would be kind of interesting. I definitely think that at this point it's anybody's game. There's no clear leader, and I'm not sure how well GreatWall is in a position to deal with the 2v1 right now. He does have a nice large portion of the map control, but if he has to try to defend from both sides, that will be very challenging for him against armies as mobile as Ostone and lightweights.
Yeah, I think he needs to be very careful about that. He could easily get caught out like a rabbit in headlights.
And GreatWall now trying to convince him that Orc's going to win. Lightweight probably thinking that it would be helpful if he felt that way before he got his Expo killed.
Okay, so Lightweight sending off the random tanks, but I don't think it's being as effective this time.
No, and I mean, the smart decision here by GreatWall to actually go ahead and heal it up. He did take down that Haunted Gold Mine, which is helpful, obviously, and Ostone clearly bypassing Lightweight's tank, so Ostone going to go ahead and attack GreatWall, and we'll see our first 2v1 of the game now.
It's really early to get into the 2v1 stage. I'm not sure if it's the wisest thing for Ostone to team up with Lightweight so casually, given that Archmage is so close to level 6.
Yeah.
I think he needs to be very careful about the backstab.
Ostone definitely needs to do something, though, to get levels on his heroes. Otherwise, he's going to be left behind. But it is tough to decide. I mean, teaming an undead 2v1 at this point in the game, let's be realistic. They're undead. What are they going to do?
Yeah, I mean, because late game, undeads are weaker than orcs and humans. I mean, if you match skill levels between players, orc and human as a race are more versatile than undead. So they're more likely to be difficult to take out, especially with the tri-hero combo of the Orc having Blade Master, Tauren Chieftain, and Shadowhunter, which is probably, in my opinion, the toughest tri-hero in the game. Having that in the late stage game with a good Orc player is going to be something really difficult to counter.
Absolutely. And we do see another Griffin Aviary going up for Lightweight, so that'll be his 3rd Aviary. He has 3 Workshops and a pair of Arcane Sanctums, so he actually does not really have the ability to pump a bunch of units, even if he wanted to. Of course, the gold and lumber are an issue as well. But interesting that Lightweight has such a, I don't want to say weak base, but certainly a more, I don't know. It's a weaker base.
Just, yeah, it is, but at the same time, I mean, he's positioned all his towers in one place, which means that it's so easy to access around the base and pick off the burrows, as you're saying. So it may appear strong to the average player, but really a good undead can easily bypass it, going round the back towards the gold mine and actually hitting all those burrows as you lined out, all with Breath of Fire and Blizzard, and really just destroying the Orc just by food blocking him, which is enough to ruin his game. So I think you're right. The base can appear to be strong, but it's actually not.
And here we go. Ostone and GreatWall are going to have their first fight. GreatWall just losing everything there. That's a terrible, terrible blow for him. Ostone going to go ahead and gain that level advantage there, but really, really bad
really
fight.
Bad fight, yeah. He pretty much just offered him all his air in exchange for the bats.
Yeah, it was not even close. And, I mean, he lost a bunch of his units before Ostone even got there, or as soon as he TP'd, lost about 5 Gargs, and then bam.
Exactly. The 5 guards got caught out of position. And we've got Lightweight down in the bottom corner here, actually killing the level 5 Dark Ranger and level 3 Pandaren Brewmaster, who are dead from Sir Wrecktify. So some free experience there, and he's smartly pulling away his Archmage to try and boost the experience on the Panda and the Paladin. So hopefully we can see a level 3 Paladin by the end of this and a level 5 Panda.
Yep, I think we'll definitely hit level 5 Panda. He's probably going to make sure that he gets the experience
with all those
on that
chimeras,
first.
with all those chimeras, he should be able to get level 3.
So Panda should go ahead and move out of the way here now. We do see level 3 on the Paladin, and yep, there we go. So both the Panda and the Archmage pulling back there, getting some extra experience on that Paladin. Paladin will get almost halfway to level 4 as well. So nice move by Lightweight there, just kind of the experience you expect to see out of a veteran free-for-all player and the wits to show.
Absolutely, absolutely. Not making the classic new mistake of having your level 5 heroes there to leech the experience.
Yep. Which something not everybody thinks about, but should be pretty much ingrained into players at this point. And Ostone is only at 80. I thought he might have gone up to 100 for a second, but does not look like he has. GreatWall 80 as well, so it'll be interesting to see how this next fight will go. Gotta believe GreatWall will do better in the next one, and they're pretty much just trading expansions at this point. Not sure if either has the intention of saving it. But they actually do back off and offer a peace treaty here. And they're asking Lightweight to go ahead and make 80. he is still at 50, but does not have very much gold. And this is the problem with going down to 50. I mean, you mentioned earlier that he had to kill off his own unit, so he does lose stuff that way, but he also made himself teamed for it.
Really big mistake there, leaving 5 casters out in the open with their asses flapping in the wind, because that could have easily been caught off by the Gargs and the Destroyer there. I really like to see an Undead have a Destroyer in the army. It really shows that there's micro on the Undead's kind of plate, because there's so many things like Hex that could be devastational and could cost you the game when a Death Knight gets caught off in a Hex and gets that crit caught off. That single Destroyer can really change the game, just that with that mana dispel. So it's really nice to see an Undead use a Destroyer effectively and not just have them there as kind of eye candy.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to make sure you have at least one, hopefully two.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially against all those casters. It looks like GreatWall is going to go ahead and fight. Ooh. We do get a surround on the Archmage, it looks like. I am not sure if that is his Water Elemental blocking in, or if the Gargs are actually in the surround right now. However, despite that, it does look like this Death Knight being so low leveled could play a factor in being forced to TP out here. But aside from that, the tanks are completely ineffectual now, and it just comes down to the heroes. Single Destroyer is the only thing that the tanks can hit at the moment, but while that was a nice move on GreatWall for the surround, he doesn't really have the hero levels or ammunition to take down Lightweight's heroes in just hero battles right now.
Death Knight really playing it close to the chest there, 150 hit points against a level 2 Holy Light. He really needs to be careful.
Yeah, between both Holy Light and then you've got Breath of Fire, obviously.
Breath of Fire, exactly. I hope he skilled Drunken Haze instead of Brawl, the kind of evasion skill.
I'm sure.
Because it would be such a waste if he has. Because I often see Mountain King players with Archmage actually skilling Bash, when I think it's quite pointless when you should do Stomp, because he usually has enough mana to do Bolt and Stomp. I mean, yeah, Thunderclap, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So Blademaster actually probably scouting out the expand here for Lightweight. But I think all the players are just trying to feel each other out now.
Yep, Ostone does have his Witch Doctors out. He's not currently warding, but he's got them on the edges there, so I'm sure he'll continue to get his expansion and presence out there. And I know we saw some shades floating around earlier for GreatWall. So Lightweight really at the disadvantage for scouting right now, but fortunately does have his Arcane Towers, so obviously those will be incredibly helpful later on once he gets a few more.
He's got a docile gyrocopter here, which is not really doing much, so he could probably use that more effectively.
It got scared. Got 3/4 of its HP taken out and it ran away.
And Lightweight is doing what I love to do with humans myself, is build mass Arcane Towers, which you can see right here. Really good technique, which solves the scouting problem. If you hotkey the Arcane Towers and just basically use them to scout everywhere, could be a really efficient tool, and it can actually beat most other races for scouting if you have enough of them.
Yep, absolutely. And it's certainly the easiest way to scout as well, and the most versatile, since while a Shade can get killed going into somebody's base, there's no way you can prevent the Arcane Tower.
Exactly.
And Lightweight is going ahead and no longer using his chat. He's getting a little bit frustrated at Ostone. I believe that Ostone, Ludix, DV, and somebody else had a really long game earlier in the day. Yeah. Probably why the finals are so late right now. Yeah,
it was a ridiculously long game. It took the energy out of all of us.
Yeah.
But he's really playing the aggressive play against Lightweight now, taking out one of his expands. So I wonder if Lightweight is going to retaliate now by focusing his tank efforts on him. Might not be a wise idea to try and piss off a level 6 Archmage, isn't it?
Yeah, it's certainly risky, but if Ostone could take Lightweight out now, I mean, I think Lightweight is certainly the best player in this game at the moment, and because of that, if Ostone is able to take him out now, he doesn't have to deal with him later in the game. Might work out well for him, but that is a very risky gambit to try and do it. It's not easy to take Lightweight out. The biggest advantage that is going for Ostone at the moment is the mere 200 wood that Lightweight has, but Ostone doesn't realize that at the moment, so it's a very bold move. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, he's managed to regain regain some of the gold disadvantage, going back to 11k. But I mean, if you look at GreatWall, he's got 25,000 gold. I mean, he's ridiculously in the lead for gold because Ostone only has 13,000. Yeah. But Ostone's doing more pushing and actually gaining the hero levels, so he's going to nullify that gold difference simply with his hero levels.
Yeah, especially, I mean, the Orc heroes, there are some trades where it's just better to spend a little bit of gold and make sure that you got the hero levels in return for Maybe not being able to produce an extra 10 bats at the end or something like that, but by that point of the game, the Blade Master is just going to be able to take out anything by itself. It's the sad truth of it.
Yeah, but Orc is a classic example of a race where it's worth investing in bats to kill off, to basically just suicide on units to gain the experience, even though you're losing the gold. Because having that level 6 Blade Master, having that level 6 Tauren Chieftain really, really does change the game around.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So we've got tanks harassing Ostone's to-be-made expand here, but although Lightweight's already mining from it. It's only got 1,500 gold in it, so it's not really worth going into an all-out war over.
Nope, but fortunately they got the all-out war going already.
Yeah, in his main base.
Continues to only be at 44 with 100 wood, so he really does not have much that he can do right now. If these heroes go down, then I could see a lot of problems coming from it. Arcane Tower is actually holding up pretty well so far, and really doing a fair bit of damage to these casters that have wandered in range, no longer able to get off the spells that they'd like to. But the Shredder being used as a weapon, good idea on Lightweight's part, except for the fact that he desperately needs that wood.
Yeah. I was going to say you might need to take it back to safety, because that's
there it goes. And
there we go, yeah. He's really fucked now for wood. Sorry, excuse my language.
Oh, no problem. Trust me, I curse on this channel all the time. You got no problem
with
that.
Paladin
does go down, and we see level 6 on the Blade Master, so you're going to have a proc stun on the Archmage. Archmage forced to TP up, but TPing to the same castle, which means that the Blade Master will be nearby, able to take out the Archmage before long, and there we go. We got another TP going out here, probably going to his expansion. Smart move on Lightweight's part, although it does mean he is sacrificing his entire main base.
I'm not sure how wise a move that was for Lightweight to stay on low upkeepers for so long.
Yeah, I think that part worked out fine. It was just he did not have nearly enough wood, and Ostone letting him live, it looks like. That's somewhat surprising, and very disagree with that.
That's a really bad move from Ostone if he lets him live, because now he's really going to take the brunt of all of the harass from the human.
Yeah, I mean, he somewhat has to. He can see that GreatWall is hitting him, and GreatWall coming up on the 30k mark. I mean, he is not far from it, despite mining at 100 right now. So maybe Ostone's figuring he may actually need some help from Lightweight and hoping to get some benevolence from letting him live, but we'll see how that plays out for him.
I just want to make a very brief comment. I mean, I understand that a lot of the time players frown upon people mining at 100 gold, and of course it's a waste of gold to mine at 100 gold. But I think GreatWall, by mining on 100 gold, on 100 food now, is actually doing the smart thing, because he has enough gold to last him for a lifetime right now. So his aim is rather to deny the other opponents from having the gold, if you see what I mean. Where if he leaves them unmined, he leaves the opportunity for another player to take the mine if he gets attacked and weakened in some way.
Oh, no.
So denying the other players the right to mine is actually as effective as actually kind of wasting the gold from the mine itself, if you see what I mean.
Oh, I completely agree with you. In this position, it's the right move. I mean, what it's usually frowned upon is when a player only has a single mine with, say, like 5k gold in their main and 100. That's when you save it. And if you see here, GreatWall has moved the Alkalites off of his main mine. So he's basically draining the mines furthest away and, as he put it, denying other players. And he even has another expansion going up as we speak to continue having 5 expansions at one time. So GreatWall actually playing a very smart game in that sense, and the Shredder going down for Ostone probably not going to be too big of a problem, but it does mean that the wood supplies can go down drastically, and there we go, we get the TP out from GreatWall.
Beautiful play by GreatWall. As soon as he saw the bats, he instantly went Garg form, and he's using his Tinker ridiculously effectively. Even though he's level 5, he's not even level 6, and he's still running around the map, dropping all these pocket factories. He's already cleared out 1, 2, 3 expansions of Ostone with minimal sacrifice. So really efficient use of his Tinker and minimal wastage of gold on things like TP.
Yep, and we can see that Lightweight now is rebuilding to 80, so it'll be interesting to see if he's going to fight GreatWall or Ostone. I mean, at this point it's kind of half dozen of one, 6 of the other as to who you should be hitting. GreatWall obviously has a huge gold advantage, but at the same time, Ostone has been more than holding his own in the fights against GreatWall, and I suspect that Lightweight is more worried about fighting the Orc than the Undead. He has a very good army to counter it between the Panda and the Archmage.
Yeah, I don't think the Gargs are going to be much of a problem for human, but it's the Orc with the slowly building up hero levels. Level 6 Shadowhunter, level 6 Blade Master, and a touch of level 5 for the Tauren Chieftain. His heroes are going to be untakeable very soon.
And here we go. We are going to have our first big fight between GreatWall and Ostone. recently, and it looks like GreatWall, nice hex on that worm. GreatWall's Death Knight is getting a little too close to the action for my comfort there. Not being focused down here, but it is still very low HP, and Ostone is going to go ahead and pretty much destroy that fight there. Torrent Chieftain is up to 5, and Shadow Hunter 6, so Ostone does have the hero advantage in the game now, doing a very nice job, but is losing his gold slowly but surely at 66 food. Lost about 2k there, but Lightweight going to go ahead and help him out by hitting GreatWall now.
I think GreatWall's starting to feel the effect of the sandwich now, so they're both attacking him, one from each side. I don't think they're intentionally teaming him. I just think that's the way they're going around to attack him.
Yeah.
But I mean, GreatWall is obviously going to feel it, but he's in a very solid kind of financial position to be able to take the hits at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the given smart teaming because GreatWall is in the sandwich by proxy. I mean, everybody called Wrecktify being in the sandwich before, which means that despite the fact GreatWall's so far away, they need to go that way if they want more gold, since Wrecktify's mines are completely gone. So he's going to be in the way there, and he also has a bajillion expos. Yeah,
I think you're spot on the mark there. They really need to limit SKQ's ability to kind of drain the gold mines around him. They need to steal it for themselves before SKQ GreatWall actually leeches the gold mine on 100 food and would just simply waste the gold, denying them of it.
Yep. Unfortunately, Lightweight is going to be the one that feels the brunt of GreatWall's attack here. I'm not sure if GreatWall is hoping to win a fight against him, get better hero levels to fight against Ostone since he hasn't done so well yet, or what the decision on that was, but Lightweight desperately needs to be able to just hit and run, attack, get some experience, and have his mines be allowed to mine in peace, but it does not look like GreatWall has any intention of letting him do that, unless he is just passing through here.
I love the way he makes his Dragonhawk riders invisible before the fight. Really good strategy. He's really good at catching off big units and small units alike off guard. You think there's nothing there, suddenly pop out of the blue, catching all the units, keeping them within the range of the tanks, forcing the undead to engage in an undesirable fight, which gives him the ultimate advantage in the fight. So he did that the last game, which is part of the reason why he won the semi-final and brought me here in the first place.
And Ostone doing a significant amount of damage now. I mean, he's taken out at least 2 expos, he's taken out that proxy necropolis, and he's actually moving into GreatWall's main base now. So GreatWall, for some reason, it's at 67, which I don't know why he is not pumping units right now. I certainly hope he's not going to play dead at 25,000 gold left.
Yeah, it would be really stupid of him to lose half his base for no reason. I mean, he really needs to start pumping now to kind of repel the attack. There's no point hoarding all that gold if you're gonna lose half your base while you're at it.
Yeah, and it does look like he may have just forgotten. He is pumping now. I presume he's going to go up to 100, which will give him a 20 food advantage over Ostone. And as mean as it sounds, that may actually even the fight and make it a little fairer. But Lightweight continues to harass his expansions while he does that, which honestly not that big a deal for GreatWall if it's just expansions going down. It allows him to get a more pure 100 food army, less acolytes involved in it, and may allow him to win the fights.
I'd agree with you. The only problem with that is that he's taking experience of those acolytes. But I agree with you. He's clearing food space to make a full proper army, and that might actually just crush Ostone in one go. And that's what he needs at this point, because if he continues to have this kind of getting nicked from one side, getting hit from the other side, he's not going to be able to win the fight in the long run. So he needs to push to 100, as you've suggested, and go all out against Ostone and see if he can cause some real damage to him.
Yeah, GreatWall won't be teamed for that much longer, I don't believe. He may even deserve to be teamed longer than he is, but that is the advantage of being undead, is that you don't really get teamed that heavily. But it'll be a question of who does the teaming get shifted to next. Lightweight, obviously, the best-known player in the game. A lot of reason to fear him. He's very, very good, but he is certainly not in first, and most likely is in the worst position right now. And Ostone's been performing very admirably so far. I've been very impressed with what he's done, with what he's gotten, and he does have 4 expansions up and running, although not 5 peons on all of them. But he's in good position right now. He has pulled off all but one of the peons from his main gold mine, and still at 80, so he's going to continue to get more gold than either of our other players. And he's winning these fights. We'll see how he manages to take the next one, but I could see one of the heroes going down for undead and just a lot of the game changing. The bats do come in here, and good feint there by GreatWall. He's finally learned to keep some of his bats back so they don't all die immediately, which has resulted in him just losing 4 or 5 there, and Nice job kiting the bats right now. I mean, he's not losing Gargs.
He's pacing himself quite nicely. As you said, he lost a lot of bats because he was really overzealous in the last fight. He just literally just sent them in and then detonated them. This time he kept them back, he detonated them appropriately, had Spirit Link on the rest of his army, sharing the damage appropriately, taking the damage on the TC and the Blade Master, and yes, bringing in the bats when they needed, and using them in clumps rather than hitting one unit at a time, where it's much more effective. So, it's as you say, Ostone's in a very strong position, lightweight playing the more defensive game right now, sitting and defending his expands. So, I think SKQ GreatWall's slowly but surely being backed into a corner.
Yeah, his base has certainly gone from being a quarter of the map to just a single base in here. He has 2 necropolises, and does he have any acolytes?
He doesn't have any acolytes in his main base, and I don't think he has any acolytes anywhere else.
Oh, he does have 1 in the expansion over there, so he's not going to get himself completely screwed. But he does have to be a little worried about having his base being torn apart and not being able to rebuild at all. So that is a dangerous game you play when you don't have any acolytes at your main base.
I mean, I can't see any other acolytes actually. Oh, he's building. He's just built a new expansion. There we go.
That was the one I was talking about, but that's the only one.
That's very dangerous. I think that's very risky play for him. So, Ugrilanian's trying to make a comment about something, but I don't exactly know what I'm just going to read the chat to see what he said.
Skype is flickering.
Okay, so do you want me to carry on comment while you try and fix that, or?
Should be good.
Okay.
Okay, well.
I hope you fixed it, yeah.
I don't know. It's 10 minutes behind, so. Oh, yeah, that was just somebody logged on. That went away by now, I hope.
Oh, right, okay. Is that the Skype kind of thing?
Yeah.
You should put yourself on Do Not Disturb.
I am on Do Not Disturb, but it was somebody logged on. I don't know.
Okay, cool.
I'm pretty much permanently on Do Not Disturb, and I've got it on 18 computers. It's terrible.
So,
people message me all the time.
An experienced shoutcaster knows exactly what pisses him off most in the middle of a game. So, yeah.
Yeah, between Skype, Trillion, Google Hangouts, I'm got 18 things running on my computer that pop up and make noises during the game. The worst was, for a brief time, Skype was doing ads, so I was doing a shoutcast, and then we had a background for a...
that must be so horrible.
I think it was one of the Chevy trucks was being advertised in the background of it. And I couldn't figure out how to turn it off. I looked everywhere, I was like, why is this not turning off? I think I ended up blaming Mog for it, despite the fact that it was on my end.
Oh, were you co-casting with him then?
Yep.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. Shift the blame on him.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't find it.
We've still got Lightweight just sitting in his base, so he's not being very proactive. He's hoarding, but he's again, disproportionate gold to wood. He really needs to focus on his wood collection there. Ostone going for the only surviving expansion of GreatWall, which has only just been built less than a minute ago, so really, really bad position for GreatWall. I think he really needs to consider his army composition and maybe try and include some Banshees, Necros, and Wagons, try and spice things up a little bit, because he's overly relying on the air, and you can see now the bats are making quick work of his air.
Yeah, and if he is going to go for the air, he needs to do a lot more kiting.
He needs to have more spiders. He needs to kind of adopt the approach that I really like Audigy having, kind of really good micro of Necros, Banshees, Wagons, spiders, and only a couple of units of air. So I wonder if we'll see a tech change in the middle.
I think there's absolutely no chance of that. Playing the Necro Wagon type strategy it works in certain situations, but it's a lot weaker, and I actually think that going for the air is great. The problem is he doesn't have a Dreadlord to use for sleep, so kiting makes it a lot harder. I mean, what he needs to do is play as Yane does, as Maga kiting. Yeah, so running in, doing attacks on the army.
Oh, hit and run
units.
kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
and
cool.
never taking a big fight just directly, but making sure that you can go faster than the other army, using your Nova effectively. I mean, that's where Undead really shines, is their nuking ability and how mobile they are. I mean, Gargs are incredibly quick and can outrun the bats if need be. However, most of these fights that GreatWall's had so far have been directly against Ostone. He's just let the bats blow into him. He did a better job the last time of allowing... We do have the Blade Master attacking lightweight now, kind of interesting. of allowing only a few Gargs to be hit by the bats, trading them evenly, which is a good move for the undead, especially with more gold. But, I mean, the fight before that we saw, it was 10 bats took out basically 20 Gargs, and that's not something you should ever see as undead.
Yeah, it was a huge mistake. He had them all clumped together, and he lost 5 in the first go anyway for free. So I hope he's going to make a comeback from that kind of mistake, and we'll see some better play from GreatWall.
Yeah, I'm somewhat surprised. I think Ostone is accidentally auto-attacking here. I was watching the Blade Master's movement patterns, and it didn't seem to have any true rhythm or rhyme focus to the attack. So I think Ostone may have just forgotten about his Blade Master, which will be very interesting. There we go. Blade Master does come back. I'm surprised that Lightweight didn't make any comment about that.
Oh, so he is going Necros.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
But I don't see any wagons, so I think he's adopting... Yeah, he's going Necros and Banshees. So he's kind of adopting half me, half of what I've said, and half of what you said. So he's keeping the air, but he's also incorporating some casters. And an undead is really weak without casters, in my opinion. Having the anti-magic shield is really useful. And Frenzy on a Worm, Frenzy on Lish can really make a massive difference in the fight.
Yeah, and I think that he may be hoping to use Curse quite a bit, since that would be a huge boon for him on the Wyvern and stuff. But here we go. Ostone actually going to get a very good engagement here, and we can see the casters just go down. Blade Storm does not hit as much as it could. Do see the statue go down, but it was a great effort to begin with. Didn't quite follow through as promising as it could have. But now it'll be on Ostone to see how he engages here. I do like that GreatWall is keeping most of his Gargs back there, but they are getting clumped up, so if the bats do come in soon, this could be problematic. But good move by Ostone here. I think he's got very good position at the moment. And here we go. The Gargs are coming in, and the bats are just going to chase him down, and that'll be the end of almost all those. But actually, yeah, so down from 100 to 66. Could have gone worse, though. I think if Ostone had chased with a few more of his bats, it would have been even worse for the undead. But, yeah, not going well so far. And I'm not sure why we're not seeing more Nova on the bats. Ostone losing quite a few of them to the towers, actually.
Yeah, he's been quite careless with his bat control at the moment. He could have detonated on those 2 destroyers and the Worm easily by now. He could have taken them out. I don't know why he's being so defensively with his bats. He shouldn't worry about the gargoyles. He should be worrying about the heavy air instead.
Yeah, he had a very good engagement to begin with, but apparently it's just one go of bats is all he gets.
he kind of fizzled out. He kind of ran out of steam quite quickly, and I think if he kept on pushing, he would have been able to get so much more of that fight. But he'd have to retreat eventually because of the sheer amount of towers. But he could have gotten so much more damage, so much more experience, so much more toming before he did that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a shame. It's a shame that he retreated so quickly and so kind of simply and without as much of a fight that he could have had.
So what do you think about Lightweight's decision here to continue to hit GreatWall? I think that he may be over-teaming GreatWall a little bit.
I think so. I think he definitely needs to recognize that Ostone is the much bigger threat here. Even though Ostone's only got half the gold of GreatWall. In fact, he doesn't. He's got 14k and GreatWall has 20k. But Ostone's got the sheer hero advantage at this point. He really needs to recognize that soon. Otherwise, he's going to be faced with one of the most powerful tri-hero combo in the game without an MK.
Tinker is very close, and down it goes. I was just watching that going, please don't die, but unfortunately for GreatWall, the Tinker does go down instantaneously to the Hex Stop combo, with the Blade Master doing some big damage and big crits there. Does
really
not take
unlucky.
long.
Unlucky to be caught out in such a position, but then again, it was quite careless of him to leave the base like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hovering around.
Just having your hero run out, that's usually not the best idea. And Lightweight looks like he may be going for Ostone's expansion here. He may just be hunting down and seeing what's left of GreatWall's expansions. I'm unsure at this point. I feel like he's got to change and stab Ostone soon, but I'm not sure when that moment would be.
So he's keeping his Archmage invisible, really smart, avoiding... I mean, this Archmage is lacking an Invuln potion, which is not to my taste, to be honest. You need an Invuln on the Archmage. But I think he's keeping him invisible just in case he gets a TP and gets caught out. He won't lose him so easily and can TP out any time.
And there we go. We do get mass TP on the Archmage, so Lightweight gets exactly what he wanted there. Hopefully he can blow any diplomatic relations by killing off something that Ostone had, but... Here we go, and the bats are going to die pretty much instantaneously. We do have one go off, but does not kill off the rider. So very nice engagement here by Lightweight, and Ostone is forced to TP out here pretty much immediately. So
Polymorph as well. Really,
Yeah.
really nice to see sorceresses being used to the max efficiency, using invisibility, slow, and polymorph. That's exactly what a human's all about, maximizing all of the advantages available to you.
And being able to use polymorph in a big fight like that is
Yeah.
pretty incredible. Well played by Lightweight there. And interesting that Ostone chose to try and take down a town hall that didn't actually have any gold at it.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that in the beginning, but then because we got caught up with the fight, I just thought I'd ignore that. But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I don't know why he decided to engage with Lightweight over something that's actually not worth engaging about at all. But yeah, I mean, maybe Ostone needs to start focusing on having a couple more Spirit Walkers for disenchant, and he really needs to remake that coda, which he's just got now.
Yep.
But I think he needs to focus on the disenchant now, because you can see the humans have got the breakers to steal the bloodlust, to steal the wards. You've got the inner fire, you've got the slow, you've got the invisibility, you've got the polymorph. The casting abilities is sheer overwhelming advantage for the humans at this point. So he needs to neutralize that.
And it's at this point that Ostone probably wished he had gone for the Dark Ranger opening so he could have silence, since Lightweight with casters is not something you want to deal with lightly. But I think you're definitely right, and he's going to need to make a few extra Spirit Walkers here to deal with it, and just so he can make sure he can spam Disenchant. You certainly don't want to have your own units polymorphed, and if Lightweight decides to get really fancy, he could even go for polymorphing some of the bats, which would be rather problematic for Ostone. And Ostone now being forced to kind of have two different armies. He's going to have to face GreatWall, who has a 100 food pure air army, and then Lightweight's going to have a more ground-based tank and caster army. So it's tough to deal with both of those at the same time.
Definitely. It's going to be interesting to see how he tries to make the best of that. But I think he's going to use his heroes to try and make up the difference. So he's actually got the hero advantage at this point. So what I like to see in Orc, which I'm not seeing with Ostone, unfortunately, I have to say Ostone's playing really well, but the thing that he's lacking is having orbs on all of his heroes. Having orbs on all of his heroes is really useful. You get the triple effect of the purge, nothing gets away from you, and they act as effective anti-air, limiting the need for bats and maybe keeping a few more units for, say, a couple of headhunters, a couple of Taurens, a couple more casters, and a couple more Spirit Walkers, as we said.
Yeah, I'm not sure about getting it on the Shadow Hunter, but it would certainly be helpful to have on the Tauren Chieftain.
At least the Tauren Chieftain, yeah.
And especially, I mean, the Tauren Chieftain obviously can't do any damage to air at the moment, and 50% of the units in this game are air, so I agree with you on that one. And to just go around the map a little bit, we can check in on how our players are doing resource-wise. We got 17k for GreatWall, 6k food. I believe he still has this Shredder, which he should probably go ahead and either kill off or use in his next fight. Doesn't really need that anymore. Lightweight has nicely recovered here. He's up to 16k and 3,000 wood. And then Ostone is at 16k and 3,400 wood. So all our players actually in very good positions for their economy right now. And it's going to be a question of who continues to fight big, because that third player who doesn't, not going to have the hero levels that the other players do, but he is going to have a large advantage in the economy. And if it's either Ostone or Lightweight that's left that way, then I think they're going to have a huge advantage later in the game as well.
We're seeing some aggressive play by Ostone. Very nice use of Cripple there, trying to limit the kind of hit and run ability of the Blade Master. So, and he's also got a meat wagon, which is going to be very interesting to see if he uses that to generate some skeletons. But he's got the graveyard to make up for that anyway. So
yeah, I'm not sure what the purpose of the meat wagon was exactly. Maybe just to get Disease Cloud on it, but it didn't look like he'd actually upgraded it. This does not look like it's going to be a good fight for GreatWall, though. I think that there's very good positioning by Ostone, and actually only takes out one of those destroyers. Nice. I thought that would be a lot worse. I think that GreatWall played that pretty well here, and Vova lagging a little bit.
12 hit points.
Yep. So it does look like the worm goes down, but on the other hand, I think GreatWall turned out a lot better in that fight than he could have. Ostone down to 60 food now. I really thought Ostone had good positioning there, and he's going to lose a lot of these casters.
Really bad mistake there. He had these casters out of the fight for most of the time.
Yep.
And now he's forgotten to TP with them. So he could have made it even better kind of fight out of that. Even though he did get the very good use of the bats, I agree entirely. But I mean, he's getting caught out of position here now. If he gets all these units killed, it's going to be free experience for nothing really.
And we do see the Tinker is level 6 now. And we can see that the Tinker's pretty quick.
He's fucking quick and fucking angry too.
So it's gonna
very
take a
nice
while,
purge there. Did you see that?
I did, yes. And I'm wondering if Ostone's going to try and fight here. This is a terrible idea. I think that Ostone could end up carelessly losing a hero at some point. Fortunately, he does have 6 on the Tauren Chieftain, but now that we've got 6 on the Tinker, it's going to be very interesting to see how Ostone deals with this. We can see the Kodo Beast going down there.
Yeah.
We do have 2 bats here, but they are not being... come on. Make sure you get those bats out of the way. We don't need to see them die. And the Hex does go off on the
Death Knight.
So the Death Knight is going to go down. It looks like 2 Ostone. There we go. TP out on the Lich. So
very nice
covered
play there.
Pretty well there. But, I mean, that's what you get for not going Death Knight first.
I agree with you. Very overzealous and over involved fight, and he's just kind of really kind of getting into a fight. Initially, it looked like a really disadvantageous position for him, and he's just kind of over engaging. But then, as soon as he got all the backup with the bats and the 2 Taurens that are causing mass pulverized damage, really got him into a good advantage position, and he actually managed to make quick work of the Death Knight. So the Gargs really have a very poor DPS against ground units. So even though it looks quite aggressive, having only a pure Garg army really isn't going to do much damage against a couple of Taurens and three pimped up Orc heroes. So I think he made the right choice to engage.
Yeah, it turned out to be. I thought he was overextending himself a little bit there, but it actually worked out pretty well, and especially because the Gargs just had to go into stone form, that really didn't help him, obviously.
Yeah. As soon as he saw the bats, he just went into stone form, and he reduced half his army's power, basically, in one go. So very nice play there.
And we do see that now Lightweight may get teamed against here a little bit. Previously in the chat, Ostone and GreatWall were of one mind to go ahead and start hitting Lightweight. But Lightweight has built up his base here a little bit. It's going to be fairly tough to take down, and now he is encompassing the entire thing with towers. We do see that GreatWall is nearby using that Tinker to harass him, which that's going to be incredibly annoying for most of the rest of the game, probably for either Ostone or Lightweight.
Well, at least he got a level 5 Paladin out of it.
That's true.
Which is going to be really annoying as well.
Yeah, and here we go. We got the Blade Storm going off, but we can see a lot of damage actually being done to this Blade Master right now.
He's got an
invulnerability, and it will get out of there just in time. Did pretty good damage on that, and Lightweight may not have quite spread out the towers enough since they managed to go down so quickly there.
5 towers down. That's quite a blow, really.
That is, and Lightweight looks like he may be going to tower up one of these islands over here.
So he's just teleported over here now. So he's going straight for the kind of mass mobility, take out as many expands as you can kind of tactics. So.
Yep. And
but actually, I think it's nice to see a human use a breaker to send off to actually act as your arms and legs to teleport on. So he's keeping his army tight, but I think he needs to send off a breaker here and there to improve his mobility. Because right now he has nothing to teleport to at the moment.
Well, he does have an invisible sorceress in the top right expo up here. So I'm guessing he's going to go ahead and TP onto that for the Great Hall. But the Tinker continuing to do quite a bit of damage now.
Absolutely. And the problem with the Pandaren Brewmaster is if he does a Breath of Fire, he just explodes all the goblins in one go and just actually causes more damage than good.
Yep, one of the few situations where the Panda does not solve everything, but Lightweight able to get back up here. And I'm not sure if he's going to decide to try and tower up or not. There is only 3,000 gold left on the mine, so it would be a little bit of a waste to put all the towers in there. But on the other hand, I'm sure these peasants are going to die sooner or later.
Well, he's managing to keep them alive. So I think maybe has he got any priests? Yeah. Maybe if he switches the priest to heal mode for a little bit. Because he's not really doing much in the meantime, and you can always switch his autocast. Yeah.
But we do see the Mass TP coming out here, gonna just... So now Lightweight actually being forced to basically play defense against pocket factories. Which...
But he's not really losing anything from it, because he's got infinite mana to do the Mass TP, and if anything, he's gaining tiny amounts of experience every time he kills it. So it's not really a terrible strain on his wrist at the moment.
No, but what he is losing is the ability to be attacking other people at the same time. Since if he's forced to TP around to defend stuff, it means that he is not actually being able to harass the other expansions. Perhaps he had decided to stop that before he got harassed by GreatWall. But we do see he has that sorceress up by Ostone, which leads me to think he may have been trying to go ahead and hit Ostone at some point.
I agree.
With Lightweight's army, I actually think he could make a big dent in GreatWall's base and do a lot of damage there, since GreatWall does not have anything else except for the single expansion at the 3 o'clock position or so.
And only a single wagon against 4 tanks, so he'll be mowing through half his base before he even sees one of the tanks lost.
Yep, and Panda's almost level 6. Has Lightweight retrained his Archmage yet, do you know? Or does he still have Water Elemental?
I think he still has Water Elemental. I mean, he only summoned it about 2 minutes ago, and I haven't seen him retrain since.
Yeah. So,
But he does need to retrain at some point. I agree.
and I'm sure that he will. Here we go. It does look like Lightweight not going to fight him directly, just going to go ahead and harass, probably because he is trading a mine that has gold in it for one that doesn't. Ostone continuing to just harass random town halls throughout the map. But it'll be interesting to see how GreatWall handles this, because he did have that huge gold advantage, but he's down to mere 15k now. And his hero is really just unable to compete with either Lightweights or Ostone at this point, so GreatWall has to kind of play his cards carefully. I think Lightweight is definitely going to focus on Ostone more, and Ostone's got to be worried about that level 6 Archmage.
Absolutely. I think he really needs to keep that in mind, and actually they probably need to actually move towards Lightweight a little bit more, because Lightweight's actually controlling the gold mine, 1.5k gold mine. He's got about 18k, whereas SKQ's lost his gold advantage, going down to 15k. But Ostone's also got 15k now.
Ostone TP's out with all these bats and does not manage to get off any explosions and kill any of the Dragonhawk riders. So,
and he lost about 4 bats here for no reason, because he never TP'd with them. So very nice play by Lightweight.
And somewhat unlucky play by Ostone there. Do see that breaker over by Ostone's expansion.
Yeah,
TP
I love
coming
seeing
in on
that.
immediately.
I love seeing that. Really effective play. I hope he sends off another breaker.
I think
Tinker's just running around doing some Sorry, you were saying?
I think Lightweight should go ahead and continue to push onto Ostone's base. I mean, we can see that Ostone really does not have very many burrows. So if we see Lightweight go ahead and take down a bunch of these towers and burrows in the back, he's got a wide open path into the middle of Ostone's base, and he could very easily food block him.
I agree with you.
I don't see any peons around the map either. There's this extra Great Hall from his natural expansion, but there are no peons hidden around the map. I don't think he has any peons at all, actually.
You can see, he's got one building the watchtower.
Yes, you're correct.
But you can see that he's recognized his weakness, and he's trying to build up towers to try and protect those very vulnerable burrows. He's done it up here, and he's done it up here. But he's still very, very vulnerable from this angle, which is where Lightweight just hit him. And I think he needs to invest in a couple more peons to try and build up that area quickly and then kill them off again.
Yeah, and just hide some around the map. We can see in the top left corner and the top right corner, and actually the bottom left corner as well.
We've got Zeppelins,
Lightweight has Zeppelins with Peasants, which is just a very nice move on Lightweight's part. And it looks like he is hiding farms already, and GreatWall actually not able to see this farm, it doesn't look like, despite the fact that GreatWall is right next to it.
Oh, there's the farm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean.
There we go. We do have a save game coming on here, so I'm glad that Ostone decided to go ahead and take advantage of that. Disconnects are rather unfortunate, and we would not like to have it.
So the peon,
peon does go ahead and go down, but I'm not sure he does know that the farm is there, so you never know. That could be an important thing late in the game. But if it was going, I keep thinking GreatWall sees it, but apparently not.
No, I think it's probably just one of those gaps that footmen and peons and small units can actually fit through, but heroes can't. And because it's been blocked by the trees, it's naturally off vision for any hero. So yeah, it might be a very might be a very advantageous thing that comes into play later on in the game.
And GreatWall's final expansion is going to go down here. And how far are we? So we are 400 XP from the Paladin getting it, and here's a very nice Blade Storm from Ostone.
Very nice.
Completely by surprise, and this is when you definitely want to have that Mountain King and wish it was still available.
Yeah.
It's going to be followed up by GreatWall coming in with his level 6 Tinker. GreatWall's got to be a little more careful, I think, though.
So Tinker's being slowed. I always wondered how immune the Tinker was to magic spells. I didn't know you could cast slow on the Tinker. Now that's something new.
Yeah, it really depends. You can cast Fairy Fire, you can cast Slow. I
know you can mana burn him as well.
But I do not believe you can use any type of stun on it.
Yeah, except for Bash, of course.
Yeah, the passive.
And, yeah. So I think Ostone really needs to reconsider his army composition. I think it's very good, but he needs to get rid of those 2 Wind Riders and replace them with Taurens, because there's no point. They're not going to. I mean, having only 2 Wind Riders doesn't give you any additional firepower, whereas having all the padding from the Taurens means you can mow through an army very, very quickly. I just think you either go with lots of Wind Riders or none at all. I don't believe in having only a couple.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good analysis. I expect that once the Wind Riders die off, he will replace them. I'm really confused as to why Ostone is at 80 food right now, though, because he's not mining, and there's absolutely no reason for him to be at 80. It just is going to mean that he'll get wrecked in fights.
Unless he's hoping to grab this gold mine, but I don't know if that's likely.
We also saw Ostone just killed off a couple of critters, so nice move on his part to finally remember about that. Otherwise, he would find lightweight in his base very quickly.
Yeah, that's something I often forget to do and regret and kick myself for later afterwards. But so it's actually, I think it's quite imbalanced in a way that critters are just, you can't, when you TP out, you don't even take them with you either. So it's just so bad. I mean, you can TP on them, and then when you TP out, the critter stays in the base. So it's a permanent landmark there, which is really, really, really kind of game changing later on if you know how to use them effectively.
Yeah, and it's certainly annoying having to hunt them all down. So it does look like Ostone's going to go ahead and try and hit Lightweight here. Not sure how well this will go for him. Nice job by Lightweight, as you said earlier, using Invisible on the Dragonhawk Rider so that the bats are going to be ineffective. And we'll see the Panda, I'm sure, make a huge dent in these bats as soon as it gets into good position.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to see the sorceresses kind of doing their work against the Taurens, really kind of polymorphing. But then hopefully that gets followed up with a disenchant that we're waiting to see as well.
So Ostone trying to play the smart and just take out the outside towers, not trying to get caught in the fire. Lightweight obviously hoping that Ostone will get drawn in a little bit too much. And we'll see if the engagement goes off properly for either player right now.
So he's got some Griffins in the mix as well, which is going to be very interesting.
Yep, the magic damage to take out those Taurens. And there we go, Big Bat coming in. Unfortunately, just a few too many got killed off early on. Lightweight actually takes that pretty well. We got 72 versus 62 now. Big Bad Voodoo going off for the Shadow Hunter, and there is no stun for Lightweight at the moment. So one of the few times we'll see Big Bad Voodoo be very efficient.
Exactly. This is one of those times where he wishes he had the Mountain King. So he's just going to ride it out, I think.
Looks like he's actually going to go for Ostone's base now and try and take it out that way. I like this move.
I see.
I think that he has much better base defense than Ostone does. And in fact, Ostone is going to be forced to TP back in here. So nice move by Lightweight to get out.
Really
Looks
nice
like
move.
He did retrain because there we go. We see that Blizzard go off.
Yep. I think I agree with you. Very smart play. The best defense is a good offense. And he's proven that now. He's forced him to TP back, sparing most of the buildings in his base, but also for making him waste a TP and losing some buildings in the process. So really good play by Lightweight. Very, very nice, effective aggression strategy there.
Yep. And looks like GreatWall is in fact still in the game. I was kind of curious if he had just left from his keyboard and took a nap or something. But we do see the Lich moving around there. So it's good to know that our third player is still here.
But I think his hero choices are starting to cost him now, as you predicted.
Absolutely. And at this point, he really has to just try and play under the radar and hope for a huge gold advantage to win it for him, because I don't think it's going to be possible for him to catch up hero-wise.
I agree with you entirely. I think it's looking pretty grim for GreatWall at the moment.
Yeah, which you hate to say looks grim for somebody with 17 or 16,000 gold, but you don't like being undead with underleveled heroes.
Yeah,
Certainly
exactly. That's the whole point of the undead, is to have the early hero advantage, to make up for the fact that the lack of versatility in the army. But he's using his Tinker reasonably effectively, but I'm not sure how much of a dent he's making with the Tinker. The Tinker's more kind of mosquito than actual kind of really annoying, harassing in it, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, and it will be effective late game for the base race, but again, Undead not really built for base race. I suppose with the Lich level 6, Death and Decay combo could go over pretty well, but they don't have something like a tank or bats the way, or chimeras the way the other races do, to have very quick takedowns on bases.
I think Ostone needs to remember to pre-buff his units before he engages. He's forgotten to do that in one or two of the fights so far. I hope he remembers to do that, because that can make all the difference in the game. Yeah,
absolutely, and it's probably just one of those things where it's late for him. I mean, it's got to be almost 2 a.m., I believe, for both Lightweight and... Actually, it's even later for GreatWall. So Lightweight and Ostone both have about 2 a.m., I believe.
Yeah, it's half past midnight here, so Lightweight is definitely 1:30 at the moment, and GreatWall is probably looking at 2:30, 3 in the morning.
Which, it's tough to play this late in the game, and Ostone asking for another save game, so he is lagging a little bit. Wonder if he has a connection error. I don't have access to the bot, apparently. But yeah.
I think Ugri's got access.
Yeah. Not that big a deal, but oh, here we go. We do have that big TP into the base, and Ostone. There we go. We do see the Dragonhawk Rider using Cloud, so nice that Lightweight remembered he had that. I thought he had forgotten for a little while.
And also kind of conservatively keeping the rest of the Hawks invisible, not just giving the whole plot away, which is really nice. Oh, he is lagging.
Yep, this is not what you want to see, and hopefully he has G proxy.
Oh God. This is such a good game. It would be.
Yeah,
it would really be a shame. Ruined like this.
Especially
when $300 are riding on it as well. So
I'm sure he is thinking very much the same thing at the moment. And after playing all day and everything, I mean, I think Ostone out of everybody doesn't want to.
Right kick in the nuts, basically.
But does not look grim, or does look grim. Does not look good right now for Ostone. Hopefully, it's just bad internet, and not something that's going to drop him.
They did save the game, but that was about 10 minutes ago, so...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see what Ugri thinks if he disconnects. I know Ugri had said that he wanted everybody to play with G proxy, and hopefully they pause the game now.
Oh, God.
Alright, so... Ugri, hopefully you're here.
Yeah, let's make sure he's here.
But
you hate to see that in such a kind of well-flowing game. It's such a lot of high skilled players, and you can see them maximizing what they're doing. Great micro, great macro, and then this kind of thing happens.
Yep.
So fucking annoying, but oh well.
And I'm not sure how well regaming from the save game is, because it's from the bot. I know we've had some FML type things that have had unfortunate disconnects at the wrong time. Wow, GreatWall at 8:37 a.m.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I haven't slept in 92 hours or so. Whatever the fuck, 84 hours now. So.
Yeah, I could not do that.
I'm pretty fucking tired. I've just been doing back-to-back night shifts. So. And I've actually had to take tonight off just so I can do this shoutcasting.
Well, that's some dedication to make sure that you are here for.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty fucking tired. So.
I can only imagine. Are you gonna be able to go to sleep tonight at all after this?
I hope so. Yeah, I might be knocked out for an entire day, but we'll see. So here we go. They start accusing each other. But to be honest, at this point, with Ostone out of the game, it's pretty much Lightweight. It's just going to roll over and just mow GreatWall down. I don't see any significant resistance coming out from the Undead in this fight.
Yep, I'm trying to get... Ugri is on our Twitch channel, so I'm going to see if he can come back in game to talk to us about this disconnect. And apparently we've got issues with... Okay.
So Ugri's here.
Yep. And we're just going to see if he wants to try and regame or what Ugri wants to do, since obviously he's in charge here.
Yep. So he's only faced with two choices really at this point.
Yep, continue or regame.
Absolutely.
And I suspect the decision is going to be continue because Ugri did say everybody should have a G proxy on. But at the moment, Lightweight just being allowed to go ahead and kill off a lot of the stuff here, it will at least help some of his score, if nothing else.
Well, I mean, they're saying Lightweight wants to continue, but obviously Lightweight wants to continue because
yeah.
he's lost his major rival. And I mean, let's face it, GreatWall is a great player. He's shown a lot of innovation and class, but he's gonna get rolled over so fucking quickly at this rate. The game's not gonna last more than 20 minutes now.
Yep, I agree. And it does look like we have our official decision because the bots can't reload it. So now we do see
there we have it.
TP back into base, and we got the full 100 food army coming out for Lightweight now. So Lightweight looks like he's ready to just go ahead and end this as quickly as possible, which probably the exact right move for him. And this poor Lich, level 4, just going to go down instantly.
It's quite painful to see a Lich level 4 at this stage of the game, because he really is just... I mean, level 2 Nova is not really anything here or there. And then level 4 Death Knight, he's going to get picked off ridiculously quickly too. The only thing he's got going for him is a decent base structure. and the Tinker's effective harass, which might help him in the base race. Because let's face it, lightweight doesn't really have the greatest spread of buildings across the map.
Yeah, although I actually don't like the way that Great Wall's base is set up right now. I think these Spirit Towers are way too close to each other. Breath of Fire and Blizzard is just going to melt through them, and I suspect that this base is not going to last long at all. We do see the
True.
Shredder is on a way for a mass TP up there, but I think that it would have been better if Great Wall had spaced the Spirit Towers and Rubian Towers out just a little bit to try and minimize it so that you couldn't have 4 buildings being hit by Blizzard at the same time.
I think you've got a very valid point, but it's a balance between having the base structure he has now, which is advantageous against tanks, but disadvantageous against AoE. If he spreads them out, it becomes disadvantageous against tanks, but advantageous against AoE. So it really is a balance. But I think overall, you're probably right. It's going to be better to have the towers spread out.
And unfortunately, I'm not sure if Lightweight was trying to use that Shredder as a mass TP point or what his goal with that was, but it did go down.
Just got caught out, yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see if he wants to continue to hide that Peasant or if he's going to use that to come TP onto. Great Wall doing a pretty good job of doing basically all he can, which is harassing with the Tinker at this point and just eliminating some of these extra town halls around the map, since while they aren't mining, it still means that you're one step closer to being able to go for a base kill. Unfortunately, Lightweight has a bunch of peasants spread out and 10,000 gold, so he's a ways away yet, and here's a big fight coming in here. We see that big Breath of Fire go in. Nice job using a bunch of Dragonhawk Riders efficiently to start off the fight. We see Great Wall does go down very quickly, and Lightweight in a great position to engage here. The problem is with the mass TP, obviously he could not take his entire army, so he's just going to go ahead and TP back out now. And I mean, you got to decide what parts of the army you're bringing and what aren't when you're doing mass TP harassing.
Yeah, maybe he can send his air up ahead and then just TP with the rest. But I really like how he's TPing to very vulnerable parts of the base, kind of behind the towers, where you can clear out a lot of the unit producing buildings. Like if he sends an invised unit up here, say, he can take out 2 boneyards, 2 slaughterhouses, and 2 two kind of temples of the damned, which means that he's pretty much halting all unit production other than gargoyles. So that could really that could be really devastational move, because he won't have any kind of buildings to reproduce any units that he loses. So I think if Lightweight strategizes a little bit more about where he TPs, that could mean the difference between a 15-minute game and an hour and 45-minute game.
Yep, absolutely. And I think we are going to have a TP in here. I don't see any critters going around, so I'm guessing that either Lightweight has not sent any or Great Wall's done a nice job of killing them off. But it's going to be just one of these times a Peasant or Breaker, Invisible something slips in, and we get Lightweight TPing into the middle of the base. We do see, obviously, he is here with his Invisible Dragonhawk Riders again. Probably going to go for the Necropolis first and just move in from there, but maybe can go for the production buildings the way you're talking about.
Critical mistake, leaving 3 priests and 2 sorcerers behind. I mean, he's not going to have that kind of caster backup, which he really has been relying on so far.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes for him. And maybe Lightweight is just planning on doing quick hit and runs and getting out, taking out some buildings, and then just using the Archmage to TP out. Because at this point, it does not look like the fight is all that much in his favor. And there we go, we do see the TP out. And this is a point where you really wish you had the Dreadlord probably, so you could use Sleep on the Archmage. But he did take out one of those Temples of the Damned, as you talked about. And I believe he got a Ziggurat as well, so...
He focused more on the unit kills, of course.
He did,
but, you know, but he's been doing. But you know what? I think missing the priest is critical, not only for the inner fire. In fact, the inner fire is the least important thing. Having that dispel would just clear out all that meat wall that he's got there of all these skeletons running about. And his heroes aren't high enough to actually have devastational AoE either to rape the priests. Like if you had the Carrion Swarm and the Nova at level 5 each, they'll all die immediately. He doesn't have that. So the priest can actually survive quite long in this kind of battle, and dispelling all these skeletons not only gives him an amazing hero advantage because he'll be gaining experience so quickly, but it'll be getting rid of that meat wall, which is preventing the tanks from getting in good positions to destroy the buildings and really hinder his unit production.
Yeah, and I wonder if Lightweight got a little taken by surprise there by the Necromancers. I mean, they're not a common unit, and while he could see the Temples of the Damned when he was scouting, I'm not sure if he actually saw the Necromancers, because it looked like he was not at all prepared to face those. As he pointed out, I mean, he didn't have his Priests, and those are obviously the most important unit when you are fighting next.
I agree, but I have to say, even though you're right, he did look like he was caught out by surprise. Definitely agree with you there. But he just used three arcane towers to scout here,
That's
and
true.
here.
Yeah, you're
so
right.
he must have seen them within that kind of huge range of scouting.
I had
So
forgotten that he scouted it.
I just think it's really poor planning from Lightweight, and that's why he got caught out of surprise.
Yeah, you're probably right. I had completely slipped my mind that he had scouted that previously, but in that case, yeah, I think it was just a misplay by Lightweight there.
And I think he needs to hold back on the Griffins. I think he's making the right choice now by going Mortars. Mortars are much more likely to be beneficial here rather than Griffins, and maybe cut back on the Dragonhawks. He only needs a couple for Cloud and a couple against the Worm, so he's got one or two extra Dragonhawks in there, which he doesn't really need.
Yeah, I wonder if those are just left over from fighting Ostone, and he's waiting for them to get killed off. Although I suppose 5, you could do 2 Worms and 3 Destroyers.
But the problem is you can't shackle destroyers. So the only thing he can do is Cloud, and you only need 2 for Cloud. So having that 3 extra food with a mortar would be much more effective.
Good point.
And he's just killed a critter there, so very very good find from Tinker.
And it does look like he is now trying to take his entire army with him. If he can pull off a surround with the siege engines, I'll be really impressed here. It does look like he has managed to get it off.
His staff is on cooldown as well.
And he's going to keep it off here, so he's going to force a true TP out here because he's got another 15 or 20 seconds left on the Staff of Teleportation. So it does look like we're going to burn a regular TP after the Invulnerability Potion. Costly mistake from GreatWall there.
Very nice play.
So
really nice opportunity for Lightweight to demonstrate his superior micro, I think.
Absolutely. And the gold is almost even now. 12,000 for GreatWall, 9,000 for Lightweight. That's one more fight to make it up the difference.
Yeah,
you got to feel like stuff is just falling into place for Lightweight to go ahead and take this home unless something completely random happens here.
I know. I think Lightweight needs to really kind of make sure that he positions himself right, gets the right kind of, let's say, weather conditions for the fight. And if he does get that, he'll be able to mow over GreatWall so quickly. He made a critical mistake twice now by forgetting half his army with the TP. I hope he doesn't make another mistake like that again. And at least this time he's walking up, so making sure that all his army is coming up with him. He's bringing a couple of extra tanks here with him, so just to supplement the kind of base race a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yep, and we do have the Tinker in the middle of Lightweight's base now, just trying to provide somewhat of a distraction. Hopefully Lightweight does not feel the need to follow it back, but it could do a bit of damage before this is said and done. However, when Lightweight hits, it's going to have to use the regular TP because it just uses Staff of Teleportation. So that's going to end up costing more than it was worth, probably.
Probably, I agree.
And there we go. We get Breath of Fire here, so we're probably just going to see a siege between the Archmage and the Panda, and that'll do a lot of damage.
So you got the mortars now coming in, doing some nice long-range damage. He's not going to sacrifice his tanks quite yet, because there's the 3 meat wagons that he can lose a lot of the hit points very quickly there.
And this is bold, leading with the Death Knight like that, with everything else going on. Lich, yeah. So getting the undead heroes. Yep, Lich does go down pretty much immediately there.
Critical mistake.
And we do see the tanks are kind of grouping off here. They're now coming back to fight off this air. Do you see the casters doing a bunch of damage in the back, and there goes the Blizzard, really just melting through the army.
And you can see the Dispel, really good use of the Dispel there. He's immediately kind of cleared out all the corpses that he summoned. Really good use of the Dispel, really good use of the Inner Fire. This is the fight that Lightweight wanted right from the very beginning.
Yep, absolutely, and you can just see it going way in his favor right now. If nothing else, all those buildings are being completely decimated by the siege going on right now. Will not be long before the Black Citadel is gotten to, I think.
I think we're looking at a GG now.
Yeah, I mean, there's enough gold that they can definitely do a rebuild. I bet GreatWall can force Lightweight to TP out, but if nothing else, I certainly think that this is going to be the moment where everybody knows it's over.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much he's just kind of taking his last gasps, really. He's just prolonging the inevitable at this rate. But the tanks really are mowing through very nicely.
Yep, and focus down this Black Citadel, and after that, if you can take the crypts down, you've pretty much managed to get rid of all the production right now. I mean, we can see GreatWall at 70 while producing from almost every production building he has. It's never a good sign.
Yeah.
And Ziggurat's just going down.
Lightweight is making a critical error of not destroying that pocket factory, because he's going to lose all his mortars and casters to that one pocket factory.
Yep.
So, in fact, there you go. You just saw 2 priests die from 1 clockwork goblin.
And mortar as well.
Exactly. So it's something that he could have avoided and prolonged the siege that he's having at the moment.
But on the other hand, Lightweight continues to just roll through the base. You're not even focusing so much on fighting the other parts of
You're just taking out buildings now.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's going for the smart play of just killing what he can right now. Do you see the Death Knight hit 6? The
Paladin
does
down.
go down. Not going to be the end of the world for Lightweight, though, I don't think. And GreatWall down to 5,000 food and 5,000 gold and going to have to rebuild
5,000 food,
everything.
wow. I'll be like, holy shit.
There were a lot of necromancers out there.
Well, he probably did have 5,000 food worth of skeletons at one point there.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, wow. Can you imagine that? Bug, hack, 5,000 food.
Yeah, but
he's food blocked at the moment.
Yeah,
which
5,000
is
food aside,
well.
he can only get 70. And he does have an Acolyte running around the map over here, which he's going to have to use to pretty much build up a bunch of Necropolises, I guess. I can actually see two different Acolytes and a Shade. So at the moment, going to have to upgrade the Halls of the Dead, make sure you can get all that back. And there is one single Acolyte in the middle of the base here, but Lightweight's got to be thinking that he wants to go back pretty much as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And Lightweight needs to keep this advantage going. It will be all for naught if he actually leaves SKQ to rebuild. So some Fiends now, so a slight tech change now. So a smarter tech change, I'd say, having Fiends rather than Frostworms, but the Fiends are equally susceptible to the combination of Blizzard and Breath of Fire. So it's quite hard to combat that combination of AoE, don't you think?
Yeah, it's really tough, and speaking as a Night Elf player, I mean, I've certainly had armies similar to the typical undead army with a bunch of air units running around. You can lose all of your armies very quickly just to that Panda and Archmage combination. And then you add in the tanks and having to deal with those at the same time, it's just a complete pain to do so.
I still think the Archmage is lacking an Invalm pot, which is something that's just bugging me personally, but yeah. I mean, you should always have an Invalm pot on an Archmage.
Yeah, although once you get to the higher level, I suppose, then you're more confident being able to deal with it.
Yeah, I guess also the fact that he doesn't have the nuking... Well, he does have the nuking potential now. He's got level 5 and level 6. So he does have max nuking potential with those two heroes anyway. But I think what Tinker's lacking is the rockets that he needs to stun the Archmage when he does his Blizzard.
Yeah, some type of interrupt would be very, very useful.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Undead are lacking in that department without the Dreadlord or the Dark Ranger.
Or even Crypt Lord, although I'm by no means endorsing that in this game. Sorry, Warpex.
Oh, yeah. I know Warpex loves to go for the first Crypt Lord. But he does make quite good use of it. He's one of the better players who uses the first Crypt Lord hero tactic. Can't say that it's the best tactic, but I've seen a lot of other players fail much more epically. So, yeah, hats off to Warpex for that.
Yeah, it occasionally works. You never know. But we do have Lightweight coming in here, and unless everything goes not the way I envision it, I suspect that this will be pretty much the end of GreatWall at the moment. He does have quite a few Necromancers, and there are a bunch of Skeletons coming out, but pretty bad positioning back there, unfortunately. And Lightweight killing off some of his own units at the moment with his Blizzard, and actually forced to TP out here.
I think he's lacking priests. I think the main thing that he did in the last fight was dispel. And if you dispel, can you see all that meat wall? All of that disappears. And that clears the path to access the Lich, the Death Knight. Whereas that meat wall, even though they're not causing that much damage, is just providing a meat shield, which is the problem here.
That, and he did not have particularly good positioning on that fight.
Yeah, I agree, and I don't think Griffins are the answer here. I think he still needs to make Dragonhawk riders for the worms, but I think he needs to have maybe even a couple of knights really to push the melee on the floor.
Does look like he's actually instead going to be going for some flying machines now.
Okay, that's interesting. Flying machines could work, but only if in significant numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I presume he's got to go up to full 100 food army with the rest of them, but they are not all that cheap, and that's pretty much going to take him to the end of his gold.
I'm not sure investing in flying machines is a good idea. Tanks are a much more cost-effective way of dealing with air, especially in the combination with Dragonhawk Riders. If you shackle the worms over the cover of the tanks, you lure the undead in. You force the undead to engage in a very undesirable situation, which has been one of Lightweight's key strengths throughout this entire tournament.
And interesting, GreatWall taking some of the pressure to Lightweight now. Admirable, I guess.
Yeah, admirable, definitely. Especially without the MK to kind of stir things up with a bolt. I think he's got the freedom of mobility to utilize this strategy. So he sees the opportunity, and I agree with him. Why not? There's nothing stopping him. There's nothing to immobilize him other than a couple of slows from sorceresses. But with his auras, with the fact that he's got a unholy and endurance aura, and boots on every single, well, boots on his Tinker at least, he's not going to be hindered that much at all.
Yeah, I just worry about him losing his Lich here in some way. I expect Lightweight can go ahead and use the Panda Ultimate, and then he can use Cyclone on the Death Knight while he takes down the Lich very quickly.
I think what he's lacking in this is two things. I mean, I agree with GreatWall's idea to harass, but he's lacking two key elements. Firstly, he needs boots on his Lich and his Death Knight.
Yeah,
That's
I would
key.
agree with that.
The second key aspect is the fact that he needs to frost armor his Death Knight and his Lich. That +5 armor and slow damage could mean the difference.
No, I think you're definitely correct on that. And he's also getting his Death Knight being the one focused down there, so it might be good to just kind of leave that back a little, not have it get hit by the breakers, and allow the Death Knight to actually be able to use Coil since it's now down to 65. Does look like he's going to pull out there, though.
Do some kiting, as you were saying, kind of use the Death Knight and the Lich to do some long distance nuking, but having the Tinker as the face of the assault.
And here we go. We've got Lightweight moving on to go ahead and take out GreatWall now. He's decided that it's not worth it trying to fight that. And we're going to see the Halls of the Dead probably go down very quickly.
He's got some spiders some spiders kind of trapped up here. He's got a couple of destroyers. The Necromancers really need to get into position for this fight, otherwise it's all going to be lost for nothing.
Yeah, GreatWall caught a little bit off guard right now, I think.
Necro is not being active. Key mistake. That's what's been pushing back the assault successfully so far. Losing all his spiders in the corner. Really bad fight for GreatWall.
Yep, Tinker hits 8, but not going to do too much, and that second Frostworm goes down just as quickly. And now we have the huge AoE combo just coming down right in the middle of
positioning.
all that.
Beautiful positioning of the Blizzard there.
And I'm sure we're going to see this Panda. Yep, there we go. Popped out of the ultimate there. Few priests would go a long way right now. As you were saying earlier, we can still see, there we go, Dispel. We could see that the Necromancers were actually doing a pretty good job of pushing him back, but now that Blizzard going off right on them again, and...
I mean, SKQ started off in a very disadvantageous position. He remains in a disadvantageous position, but at least he's microing his Necros away from the AoE.
Yep, and the Flying Machine's not really doing all that much right now. They're just sitting there idle. Unfortunately,
they're not a very good investment because he hasn't really upgraded the cannons upgrade, so they're not even destroying buildings in the meantime.
And Panda goes down.
Bad mistake. Really bad mistake.
Yeah, Lightweight gonna have to TP out now. He does have enough to revive it, but I'm sure he would like to have a lot more gold than he does currently.
And he just lost the Paladin just before the TP. Oh,
yeah.
Really, really bad move by Lightweight. This could actually cost him the game now.
Yeah, I mean...
Flying Machines was the wrong option to go for. He really should have focused on tanks. He should have just focused on the tanks. The tanks can at least, if they're not attacking the air, they'll be mowing through the buildings. Whereas the Copters just stood there doing nothing. And he needed more priests and a little bit better positioning to dispel the meat shield a little bit earlier. But I think I have to say, even though GreatWall got caught with his underwear down, he really managed to make the best out of that fight.
Yeah, the one problem I do foresee is he's pretty much lost all of his Necromancers now. He has 4, and he is rebuilding at least 1 Frostworm, which ordinarily I think is a great move, but Lightweight still does have all of those Copters left, and the one thing they are good at is just tearing through Frostworms. Paladin should be caught in a bad position right now. Just perfect shield there, actually.
He's got just enough mana to do the shield, yeah, so... But I think he's been forced to revive the Archmage, the Paladin at the tavern. He's still got the Panda waiting. He can maybe use this chance to kind of harass as much as possible.
Yep. I like that GreatWall is continuing to put up as much pressure as he can right now, though.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I think this is a very good move, and we're going to see a TP
very nice
into the base. So Lightweight going for the base race now.
Nice use of the copters there to deny the gold mine as well from Great Wall.
Yep.
Just as a side note.
And here we go. TP back in. Got to be thinking that he needs to mass TP back out now. Nice job making Great Wall just burn off 350 gold there. I mean, that's so important at this point in the game.
Beautiful
Yep.
rockets
Nice deny.
there. Lovely play.
And do we have enough for a shield right now? The Paladin could go down. The Paladin does go down again.
Applaud there for beautiful play from Great Wall. Perfect timing for the rockets and catching the Paladin just before he manages to TP out. As Ugrelenin is saying, that was nothing short of amazing.
Yeah, that was very well played by Great Wall. And now we're going to have to sell off pretty much all the items on the Panda to revive the Paladin. Which, I mean, you don't want to do that.
I think you can see the frustration now in the way Lightweight's talking.
Yep. And understandable, I mean, it is incredibly late for him, but that's just those types of mistakes are what's going to blow it. He does have the flying machines lined up behind there. Yep.
Flying machines. So don't count him out just yet.
On the other hand, this could be very bad news for Lightweight if he gets caught. He does have enough for the ultimate on the Panda, though. So.
But he needs that Paladin.
Yep, absolutely.
He needs that Paladin.
And he's got 318 now, but unfortunately he needs to continue running to sell stuff. So that's going to be his major problem. And he's got to think that he needs to mass TP into the base now and try and force another. But he does not have a TP on his hero, so this could get dangerous very quickly.
Well, the thing about this is that neither does the undead. So that's actually something that he might be overlooking, because every time he's TP'd into the undead's base, the undead's TP back. This time, even though he TP's without a TP, the undead doesn't actually have a TP. So he might win the base race if he TP's over now. And the copters there are doing a lot of damage, but they're getting caught. So he's actually focusing the necros, which is probably the smart idea at this point.
Mm-hmm. Those are the only things that are going to do any damage to him. Really, and then there we go. Paladin does come in. I mean, the Goblin Zeppelin comes in with Peasant,
beautiful
and we're going to see the Tinker come in by itself. So it'll be a question of how much damage can that Tinker do. But now Great Wall being forced to run back with his other heroes, not going to make an effort at a base race. So he is basically allowed Lightweight to turn this game into what he'd like it to be.
Exactly.
Does need another big breath of fire. The Necros are clustered up there.
He needs to make sure that he has. He needs to make sure that he has enough mana to split. Yep. Beautiful. There we go. Yeah, I don't think he can stop this base race now.
I'm not really sure where this Archmage is going though. It's just running off by itself.
Well, he doesn't want to get caught in the nuke, but I agree. He's going way too far for comfort.
He's basically sacrificing the tanks here, so he's not going to be able to save any of those unless he tries to loop back in, maybe. But he's essentially given up on the tanks there. I'm sure he's going to try and bring out the remainder of his units, but I don't know if the tanks will manage to get through all these buildings here.
I don't think they will, because the rockets are rockets is one of the most effective spells against tank in the game. Rockets and wave.
And just that level 9 Tinker actually is super effective against it.
Exactly.
And
he's attacking them like
right
he's attacking buildings. Yeah.
Yep. And here we go. We do got the TP out there by the Archmage. So Great Wall doing a nice job here. Got to give it to him.
I agree. He's got an expand here, so just in case push comes to shove, he can actually kind of make a last second building out of desperation, if he needs to.
Which I think it's very likely he will need to, but I'm surprised that there's as little damage done as it was with 5 tanks. That very costly for Lightweight that he had to give away all those tanks.
I agree, but if he gets the Paladin up and he gets the Tri-Hero back and running again, then he might be able to play the base race using AoE.
Yep, absolutely. And I think that's probably his strategy at this point.
But I agree with you. A very costly mistake there, just sacrificing those tanks out. He really made a big mistake by looping the Archmage going all the way around like that, instead of just running across through here. It's a really critical mistake, because it took him forever to get back, and by then all the tanks had gone. He could have at least saved 2 or 3, and that could make the difference at the end of the game.
Absolutely. And Great Wall has purchased a TP for his Lich, so deciding that he does not want to play the base race game, which is probably smart.
I agree.
Lightweight showing his hand that he has all these Zeppelins with peasants around the map, though. And I'll be interested to see if Lightweight is going to build a little fortress on the island, or at least a few farms on the island, which will make them hard to get to.
I've never actually seen island building in this map.
Right up here. If you build up there, it's pretty much impossible to get to.
Ah, okay. I've never actually seen anyone build up there in this map.
In the top left as well. I mean, fortunately, Lightweight is not going for a fortified defense up there, but even just hiding something up there takes a while to find, obviously.
I agree.
So at this point, what do you think Lightweight needs to do to win, and what do you think that GreatWall needs to do to win?
I think GreatWall needs to continue the pressure on Lightweight to make sure that his tri-heroes are constantly low in health, low in mana, keeping them as far away from his base as possible. But I think GreatWall is in a much more advantageous position here. I think the fact that he's still got the graveyard is probably the worst building that he's to have left alive, because that's the one thing that the Necros are using to create the meat shield.
Yeah.
That's really disadvantageous. So if he took that away, then the Necros would actually be almost useless in terms of creating meat shield, but they'd be useful for cripple and frenzy. But that meat shield, which really fucked the tanks up, preventing them from getting in position, it's all because of that building. And it's funny to see that key building is actually still standing.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that Lightweight continues to let these tanks be built right now.
And
I would think
Tinker's
you would cancel
harassing
those.
like hell as well. So
Yeah,
I agree
Tinker's
with
doing
you.
a nice job.
Definitely. I don't think that having these 2 extra tanks now, it's too little, too late.
Yeah, and it would be better even to save that for rebuilding on other parts of the map, I think. But it does look like he is going to go for it, and then I presume he'll use Mass TP. He's got a Peasant coming into position up here, but I like that GreatWall has left his Death Knight and Lich up here. I think that's a very wise move on his part.
Absolutely. They've become
And
strong
Peasant's
enough
gonna
now
die.
to hold their own.
So Lightweight not even going to get a chance to use his Mass TP up here.
So there's a Wand of Lightning Shield item here, which might be really useful to pick up and sell. So there we go. Death Knight's just done that. But yeah, I mean, as you can see now, level 7, they're strong enough to hold their own now.
And
So I think Lightweight is conceding now.
I don't know. This may be some manip still. I think it unlikely that Lightweight's going to let it call the game before he loses his heroes, at least.
Well, I think he's telling the truth on that one. I mean, whether he's manipulating or not,
Yeah.
I think he's accurately predicting the future.
No, I agree with you on that, but still very shocked and very surprised that he would actually admit it so far. But it does look like Archmage is in very bad position. It cannot get away quick enough. Fortunately for Lightweight, they do let it go here, but it's going to be bad news bears if Lightweight does not get out of here soon. I mean, he's got both those heroes trapped up there.
It's totally GG. He's got Frenzied Worms and Crippled Panda. It's not going to work for him.
Panda does go ahead and at least take down the Necropolis, so there are not that many buildings left, but GreatWall does have a couple of acolytes sitting around the map.
Oh, look at this. He's got 2 extra tanks coming in from this side.
Yep, I had not caught those, so you're completely right on that, and he may be just going for... Interesting that he actually unsummoned the Temple of the Damned there. That's very... Was that a misclick? I'm not really sure. Panda goes down,
but the Panda goes down.
Is this the last building? This is the last
No,
building.
it's not. There's a
He just summoned up
there's a Necropolis
Necron,
there.
2 there, yep. Good call. I did not see the Necrop at the left
So
at all.
he's probably selling them because he knows they're going to get destroyed. He might as well make the gold for them to build somewhere else.
You're right. I'd not seen that he had those 2 Necropolises going up.
I didn't know about that one, but I certainly knew he had that one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that he missed them on the way up here, actually.
Yeah, it's just got to be because it's next to that marketplace.
It's quite hidden, to be fair.
That's going to be very tough to get to. Lightweight saying you lame too well.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's his way of saying GG. I have to say, I've thoroughly enjoyed watching this game. Really nice to cast, and I think it's, as Yugu's just mentioned, a perfect finale for a great cup. Lots of action, lots of micro, lots of good map control and macro.
And
So now,
just cancel
solo
that.
Archmage just harassing.
So he does have enough by canceling that, though, to go ahead and put up another Necropolis when he wants to. So nice move, being able to get out of that quick enough. And Lightweight's just, he's trying for all he's got, but it may not be enough.
I don't think it will be, because what's happening now is GreatWall's doing the perfect strategy, sending off Tinker like a mad dog to go and destroy the buildings, while he keeps the rest of the army focused on one building.
And there it is.
GG.
GG. So
Amazing
really well
game.
played. All right, well, why don't you go ahead and give me your takeaway from this, and then I'll go ahead and wrap it up after you.
Sure. I think all players had a very good game, had a very good run. Obviously, Wrecktify got caught out really early, and we were expecting him to get caught out with the sandwich very early. But Ostone, really unfortunate that he was actually dominating the game for a large part of it, but dropping. But as soon as he dropped, Lightweight really took advantage of the situation and started continuously pressuring GreatWall. But GreatWall managing to do some amazing micro and turning it around, capitalizing off Lightweight's critical mistakes, and that eventually cost him the game. And actually, GreatWall ending up winning, and deservedly so. So, amazing game overall.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got to say, I did not think GreatWall was going to pull this out, but he played
Neither did
phenomenally
I.
well. I thought that Lightweight had that beautiful early rush. I think it was really a shame Wrecktify got taken out so early, because I think he would have made this late game a lot more interesting. Ostone played very, very well. I mean, his usual MO is to be kind of a hoarding type of player, but he played that aggressively. He played it very well. Didn't make too many mistakes, but enough to keep the game interesting, and then that unfortunate disconnect. But fortunately, we actually had two very evenly matched players. I mean, usually when you get to that disconnect, it's just usually one player is much stronger than the other, ends easily. And we even called that Lightweight was going to just take it home very quickly.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Lightweight put up a good effort. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. Perhaps it was the time difference for him. I mean, GreatWall was playing at 9 a.m. his time as well, but being tired, it sucks. That being said,
Absolutely, but they're both in the same boat in that
Yep.
in that respect. But I have to say, even though I was surprised, I was pleasantly surprised, because SKQ really kind of, I mean, Lightweight making some undoubtedly critical errors in his initial assaults, missing out half his army there, kind of bad positioning here. But SKQ, the essential aspect of all of this is the way he capitalized of these mistakes, and that's what won him the game.
Yep, absolutely. But it was a very, very good final overall.
Absolutely, I loved it, every minute of it.
Yep, almost no low points in the game, pretty much no hoarding, no over-the-top manip. I mean, just a bunch of fights and a just enjoyable game overall. So thank you to Ugri and Searcher, as well as yourself, for putting this on. It's been a grand final. I'm sorry, I'm typing while saving this right now.
That's okay. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to co-cast with you. I had a great
absolutely.
time, and I look forward to doing it again sometime.
Yep, and we'll have to do this again soon. So
Lovely.
just so you guys know, you can follow Hayder at twitch.tv/UgriFreeForAll, I believe.
Yep, that's right. I co-cast with Ugrade, and we do all our streaming on through his channel. So
And
please
then-
subscribe and follow. That would be great.
You guys recently started a YouTube channel as well, correct? That's
Yeah, we have.
Play Free For All TV on YouTube, I believe.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Thank you for advertising that.
All right. Well, it's been great. Thank you so much for your help, and we
Thank
will
you
talk
as well.
soon.
Thanks everyone
later.
for watching as well. Bye.